Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you in another video. All right, so I've been thinking about when Bron gets back, assuming he comes back with enough time to come back for us to win and get back some equity in the postseason. I think that it's most important that we consider what we want to do with Bron playing either off ball or on ball in this situation. For one, it's going to be such a short period of time for us to figure things out once we reincorporate him back into the system. We're going to be asking him to put the ball in his hands fresh off of being away for several weeks. When we've had success with other guys having the ball in their hands, setting him up or setting players up, like Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, Dennis Schroeder. They're kind of used to playing in a certain rhythm right now. They're used to having ball handling duties. I don't want any confusion down the stretch of these games when we need not have any. You know what I mean? Like in normal circumstances, bringing Bron back is nothing. But when the pressure is so high to win, we kind of want everybody to be comfortable. You know, something I was thinking about yesterday while watching the team, as well as thinking about what Anthony Davis said in regards to telling us all to relax, is how important playing loose actually is. How important playing comfortable actually is. How important not playing so tense actually is. And it's what comes to mind. I think when you put the Bron in situations like this where he has to come back and win and he has to be in rhythm immediately, I don't necessarily think that's what's best for the whole team in this short window of time if he comes back with like 4 or 5 games left, 3 games left, whatever it's going to be, which has not been confirmed. But at the end of the day, it's like, would it not be something that we consider keeping the ball in D'Lo and Austin's hands and Schroeder's hands when Bron gets back? Because at the end of the day, what I see is a LeBron James that doesn't necessarily shoot as well off the dribble, but does shoot significantly better when he's catching and shooting. He's also the best source of easy buckets that we have. So should not the offense start in somebody else's hands and finish with him slashing or shooting the basketball? I think that makes a lot of sense in a lot of situations when you consider what the short window of time we have to gel would be and the urgency for every possession to succeed. We don't need guys being confused about who gets the ball down the stretch of the game or be confused about how things should go. I think LeBron James is much more likely to play uncomfortable and succeed in those situations than those young players would in those situations with that pressure on the line and the continuity being so important. So I don't know if I'm looking at this the right way. Obviously, you want LeBron James to have the ball in his hands as much as possible, but you also want him to kind of play off the ball, and particularly when he's shooting the ball, to be catching passes from other people. He just shoots better that way. I'm telling you, he's a much better catch and shoot guy. So it's one of those situations where it's like, I want to take advantage of that. And I want us to allow him to finish plays. I don't need him to make the pass necessarily with this unit. I need Austin, I need D'Lo to be making those passes. Because at the end of the day, if he's passing to them, they're definitely hitting shots. But if for some reason he decides to do the dribble thing, take his own shot, those are possessions they're going to be called. At least I know they're more likely to get him the ball than he is to get them the ball. And it's going to make a lot more sense because they're going to be getting each other the ball, etc. This is a team that does well with parity. You know, everybody can produce, everybody can score, everybody can contribute. So it's one of those situations where it's like, if we have any one-man situations where a guy comes down and jacks up a shot, whether it be D'Lo, Bron, Austin, if that shot doesn't go in, it's a lost possession. And with what we got going on, I don't think we can afford any lost possessions. So I'm just brainstorming. Obviously, the level of talent you're going up against is going to make the difference. And we don't really know when he's going to come back. But if he comes back sooner than later, it'll kind of give me a cushion in regards to what it is we're looking at. Like, for example, if he were to come back in the first Chicago game or something, which nobody expects, then you feel a lot better about putting the ball in his hands because we got more games left to play to not be eliminated. But if for some reason that window starts to get shortened and he comes back when people said he was coming back, which would be the third to last game, those 3 games we need to be so very keen on making sure every possession is a good one. And we can't have unforced turnovers because we're exchanging new ball handling duties and playmaking duties. So that is something I'm very much thinking about. Bron is perfectly fine off the ball, man. Perfectly fine. And I think we need to use him as a slashing scorer a lot more than we need to make him a facilitator when we have nothing but facilitators in the lineup with him. Also, Malik Beasley's value is different to me when as it pertains to when LeBron James is on the floor because of LeBron James being considered a non-3-point shooter. The pressure to have the spacing on the floor that Malik brings to the table is much more keen. Much more keen. It's much more important to have that space. So I think you may see more of him when Bron gets back. I think that might be something Darvin may want to do, just to provide that surefire spacing, stretching ability. But you figure, just like I said in the beginning, weeks ago, Austin Reeves hitting those same shots. So as long as he continues to hit those shots, he's going to have that same respect. But Austin's more likely to relocate and go other places, cross court and all that. Malik Beasley's going to keep you parked behind the arc because he's definitely going to be back there. So I understand the importance of having him on the floor when LeBron is on the floor. If he's shooting well, they can bust the game open real quick. So there's a lot of ways to win, and I think we should lean on what works and mix it up just the same. Against a team like the OKC Thunder, the defensive matchups are very important. They got guys that can take you off the dribble, big bodies, guys that can do certain things. A couple guys with some footwork in the paint that can do things. So it's a lot of different dynamics. Just like with us, they can beat you a lot of different ways. So as we look at the next game we're going to play, obviously we need to continue on the momentum that we have right now with Austin Reeves being empowered to start and, of course, given so many minutes. I think he's built for it. I think he's going to adjust very well to as I call the hype around his name. I think, AC went through a period where, overnight people were calling him a superstar and he had to adjust to it as well. But I think at the end of the day, Austin Reeves, his game is going to help him just in general because he's a complete type of player, as ESPN mentioned, that, we know that the guy can do pretty much everything. Just about all things. And so as he continues to get stronger, saw a picture of him in the gym. He looks like his conditioning is something he's taking extremely seriously. And if he stays on this course, the way he's looking right now, he's going to be yoked up. He's going to be yoked up for real next year. So that's going to allow him to take on more punishment, hopefully. And that is something that people have been mentioning a lot of in regards to him, is the punishment that he does take. And I told you guys, he's one of the best people at drawing fouls in the league. He understands how to sell a call. And, I don't have any problem with that whatsoever since everybody does it to us. It's good that we have a player who can do it. And so it's important to note that he's been helping us get to the line in some extraordinary ways, getting calls that nobody else would get. And we're very happy about that. Because, well, I'll tell you right now, Russell Westbrook was driving at the rim just as much as Austin's been driving at the rim. And he didn't get none of them calls early in the year. It's none of them. So we're very happy that the referees see to it that Austin Reeves is getting his calls, man, because we deserve them as a unit. So that's another reason to appreciate what's going on here, is Austin's ability to get those referees to see things as they are. For whatever reason, Bron's not able to do that. Russell wasn't able to do that, etc. We would not get our calls with those players. Same type of slashing. So that's just something I want to talk about just at length, is how much I appreciate that. Dennis Schroeder slashes to the ball as well. I want him to improve his efficiency. I've seen far too many games where he goes 3 for 14, but then goes 8 for 8 from the line. It's like, we need you from behind the line, or rather in that free throw line. But we don't need is the turnovers and the brick shots that ultimately lose possession. So it's like we want Dennis Schroeder to stretch of these last 9 games to really make and take shots that he knows he feels really, really good about, like extremely good about. Those are the ones I want him to, teardrops, layups, stuff like that. 3-point shot, if it's falling, let it go. But let's make sure everything we're doing is within the flow of what it is that we're doing. No bad shots for none of our guys. So the urgency is so much right now because we just are in the fight of our playoff lives, and everybody knows that. We've been in that fight for the last 2 weeks. So the urgency that my team has given us for the most part has been good, with the exception of maybe 2 or 3 games. I thought we were really, really solid since going through this process of trying to find our way into this tournament with our backs against the wall and like 8 teams in the same mix with us. So that's what I want to say. The 2 wins in a row, it instills confidence. You beat teams that we expect to win, and given the circumstances and him missing the players they were missing. But Orlando, whether they weren't missing nobody, but they're a young team, so we can handle them. Now we go into the biggest test of the two, of the three teams rather, of course, against this OKC team. So I'm excited about it. We got the Chicago team after that twice in a row, and that is also a team that I think could give us one or two things. They could play really well or really horrible. They had just beat the Philadelphia Sixers at home and then turned around and got blown out by those same Sixers, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know what to expect from the Bulls, but I know if we bring what we're supposed to bring to the table, we will beat them. We will. So that's really what it comes down to, man. But let's take care of Shai, man. Throw Vando at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, man. It's so important. And if you ain't put him on him, put him on Jalen Williams. You got to put him on one of those two guys. And I think the Lakers did a pretty good job against Devin Booker yesterday, even though he ended up with his points. I just think ultimately we did a much better job overall defending, just in general. The eye test told me we defended the perimeter a bit better. Just hounding people around, pushing them behind the arc and staying in positions to make things uncomfortable for players. So if we can carry that forward, obviously they got plenty of shooters. A guy like Isaiah Joe can really light it up, and a few others as well. So we just have to make sure, very, very sure, that we're aware of what we're dealing with tomorrow with this team that has a lot of young talent and a very deep overall unit. So, yeah, the good thing is they're coming into our building, so hopefully that means they will, have a little bit of the jitters in regards to the moment. But pressure's on, and they are a confident bunch. They're good, and their record is at this moment a little better than ours. So to say that we need to beat them is a very much an understatement. We need to beat everybody, and nobody's exempt from that. So, yeah, looking at that game, the Timberwolves game, Karl's back. They won a game last night on his free throw shooting. Karl's back. It's like I told y'all he was going to be back. And Anthony Edwards is a superhuman, so that injury that he had will probably have him coming back around the same time Bron comes back. It's a kid. He wasn't that ankle injury was a problem, but he's such a specimen to where you could totally see him bouncing back from that. Just like when Giannis bent his leg back and it looked like it was the end of the world, and then he proceeded to come back and like average 50 to end the series. I look at Anthony Edwards and made of that same kind of fabric. He's going to heal quicker than a lot of people. So that is why I'm not surprised to hear that he's not even in a walking boot. After looking at that injury, it looked like he was going to be out for 2 years. But no, not that guy. Nah. So we're going to deal with probably both of them. I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Edwards targets coming back against the Lakers about a week and a half from now. And so we just need to be ready for that. That's a road game. We're going to be their building, cold weather, Chicago, Minnesota, and then we proceed to keep on going. I think we go to Houston, maybe Utah or something like that. So we need to keep our eyes open for these games. And then we finish that road trip with the Clippers. Of course, it's our house, but it'll be their floor. So that's what we're dealing with, man. These are the games that we're looking at. These are the teams that we're facing. These are the teams that we will be beating. And so that's all that we'll accept. That's it. We need to go on a 9-game winning streak. I don't see any reason at all for us not to be able to compete in every single one of those games. Now, these teams are that much better than us if they're better than us at all. They're not. Clippers without Paul George, we called a break right there. I do not believe he'll be ready for that game. Although we don't know what the situation is with that knee. But I looked at that knee and said that he's out. So that might have caught us a break. Which should make up for Karl-Anthony Towns coming back. And then you look over and see the Utah games. It's like, all right, well, we'll battle it out with them. We'll have Bron back for one of those games. So, the most important thing for us is to just take care of what's in front of us right now. OKC and 2 games against the Chicago Bulls, which means you're going to be dealing with athletes for the next week or so. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and those guys, athletes. So be ready for the fast break. Be ready for forcing turnovers, and also enjoy the fruit of being on the other side of small ball, because Chicago's going to definitely run small ball against us. So that's going to be interesting to see how that works out with Pat Beverly and those guys kind of running similar stuff to what we ran in the first half of the season. So 2 games in a row of that. Hopefully we can kill them on the boards and get 2 victories against that team that's fighting hard right now. So that's it, man. Everybody's fighting. We need to be fighting harder than them, and I think we will do that if we just continue to believe. Obviously, I'm one that says I think it's over. I told you guys that I think I'm pretty much almost there, but the math tells me where I'm really at. If we are still mathematically in it, then we just keep on playing. But as for me, I'm looking at, and this was before we played Orlando, I was looking at, well, if we were going to continue to lose games, then obviously we were going to find ourselves mathematically out of it. So for me, it's like as we continue to press forward losing, with that at that rate, it didn't look good. And when you consider when you start losing certain games with this stretch on the line, you're pushing yourself to have to play through more. You give yourself less of a window to be able to play through foul trouble or play through an injury. You can't afford a certain roll ankle or something like that. So for me, it's like I'm not waiting till we're mathematically out of it necessarily to call it in my head. I'm looking at the hill getting steeper and steeper as the losses continue to pile. But if the wins are piling, then that's not as steep. And it changes trajectory of everything based on the games being so few. So yeah, what you're looking at can change quickly if we continue to win. And that's what I told you guys when I was telling you guys that I thought this thing was over. If we string together a couple of wins, you feel better about what we're looking at. Well, we string together 2 wins, and we'll see what happens next. So that's what it is, man. New information gives us new opinions, and we're going to update those, and we're going to normalize doing it. Because there's always something to look at. This game is fluid. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop at what you're looking at. You better keep looking, because it can change right then as you're looking. So that's what I got to say, man. That is the gist of my thought. Of course, I love giving you guys content. No game today. I think they play tomorrow. I think that OKC game is tomorrow, but I'm not sure about that either. I will do homework on them either way, and I'll get back to you guys on what it is that they have done. And we'll be ready for them. Video 44. Let's take you off watching. Wow.